popular Yoruba saying goes, "Tí oúnjẹ bá kúrò nínú ìṣẹ́, ìṣẹ́ bùṣe." The simple translation implies that when food is taken care of on the list of human needs, poverty is put at bay. For nourishment or strength, food is the all for human survival. That is also why Africans believe that farmers are kings as the food producers. A largely agrarian nation before the advent of mineral resources, Nigerians thrived in agriculture, many of them involved in subsistence farming that took care of the home and provided extra for cash. On this edition of Dateline 360, we will be looking at some benefits of cottage farming and the barriers to the continued practice of this culture that has proven to be a veritable source of food sustenance for many years. I'm Omotala Mojala. Thanks for tuning in. We start from a part of the country known for high yield in agri-produce. Charles Abba reports that the appellation, the food basket of the nation that Benue State is known for, is driven by 90% of subsistence farmers covering the 23 local government areas of the state. This practice, he says, continues to ensure food security and sustainability in various communities of the state and its environs, even as the prices of good food commodities rise.
Subsistent or smallholder farming in Benue State is as old as its creation. This system of farming transcends most communities of Benue State as a cultural or traditional avenue of fending for the family, especially in times of scarcity. Some of the communities or local government areas currently engaging in subsistence farming in the state are Agatu, Kasinala, Okpoku, Ukum, Bandikia, Guma, Gwe West, Boko, and others. The enabler of its consistent practice is the availability of vast arable land, which yields nearly all crops. These, no doubt, earn the state the popular acclamation food basket of the nation. Most local markets are flooded with the yields of the farms like rice, beans, maize, yam, cassava, sorghum, and many others, thereby crashing prices of goods. Ehi Jacob is a mother of three. She lives in Makudi. She has been committed to her cottage farm for years, but now working in the scorching sun to keep soul and body together.
Carry for time, I cannot belly food and your children, even for money alone. So that's why we decide to the farm anywhere we can see land. We go do and gather and small, put anything. We go produce for children, where children go chop.
In order to enhance food production and ensure food security in line with the renewed hope agenda of the present administration, last year, the federal government distributed water pumps to some farmers in Benue State to encourage rises in farming. Yahaya Muhammad and Hassan Umar were among the beneficiaries.
New pump like this will go a long way in alleviating the hardship we have in getting water to our crops.
This presence of water pumps will encourage us, and by the grace of God, our boast will be more than what we used to realize before.
In spite of the aggressive subsistent or smallholder farming activities, the economy continues to bite harder. Hence, people are appealing to government at all levels to do more to boost agriculture.
We have to go into large-scale, massive crop production. And that means we have to do some land clearing to give way for commercial farming, where mechanized farming, where a lot will be cultivated in large quantity so that we'll be able to feed ourselves here, sell to other states, and even export.
The government should try in order to help farmers to, at least, should I say it, put subsidy in fertilizers and herbicides.
Now this is where we just start, so the season don't come. May them bring chemical price down for us. Some of things for materials for farm things, all those things. And they help us now be our beg to them.
From all indication, it is worthy of note that the end to the practice of subsistence farming in Benue State is not in sight because of the importance the people attach to the practice. For Dateline 360, Charles Abba.
Taraba State assertively bears the title Nature's Gift to the Nation. True to this is her fertile and arable land texture. Still looking at cottage farming, modeling Matthew Bello reports that Tarabans engage in both subsistence, rain-fed and dry season farming year in, year out. She also looks at how subsistence farming is sustaining families in the state.
Subsistence agriculture plays a vital role in ensuring food security and self-sufficiency for the people of Taraba State, like many other states in the country. Farming communities in the state produce crops such as maize, rice, guinea corn, and yam, depending on their locations.
Farming is very helpful to us as it assists us in feeding our families. Farming has brought a lot of successes to me. Through farming, I cater for the needs of my family and settle the school fees of my children.
Subsistence agriculture not only contributes in food security, but also helps in poverty reduction and rural development, as it empowers farmers by giving them control over their own food production and creates economic stability.
Most of the women farmers contribute a lot to the living standard of their families, whereby they pay the school fees, they contribute into feeding of the family. Some of the widows, it is part of their livelihood. Even if the man is there, the little that he's earning will not go wrong without the contribution of the woman.
Every year I farm. Sometimes I get like maize. I do get like 10 bags, and through the farming, I feed my family and sometimes sell some to solve other problems. The challenges are, getting the farming input, getting the fertilizer and the chemicals.
Taraba State IFAD Value Chain Development Program is surely into assisting of subsistence farmers in dry season farming, as you have said, not only in Taraba but across the 9 participating states in Nigeria. So we are into helping our farmers in this aspect of dry season farming because we realize that dry season farming gives higher productivity, that is yields, in rice production.
Subsistence farming, which has been the major source of livelihood for most households in Taraba State, is paying off. In Jalingo, modeling Matthew Bello, reporting for Dateline 360.
The civil service rules forbids government employees to have other jobs outside their regular work, but makes an exception with agribusiness. The rule permits civil servants to engage in farming, including production, processing, and marketing of agricultural produce. This explains why the federal government provides incentives to encourage Nigerians, particularly those about to retire, to venture into farming. Musa Babaliu takes a look at some of these government interventions and how lucrative farming is.
Most Nigerians perceive civil service positions as prestigious, and those occupying strategic roles in government are respected members of the society. And this all extends to those hired by the government as well as those in the private sector. The tedious farm work and the unattractive nature of farming are some of the factors despised by many. Farming is therefore left in the hands of people with low levels of education and rural dwellers. Major producers of the food the country consumes on a daily basis are smallholder farmers who adopt rudimentary farming techniques. A survey shows that only about 20% of the 60 million farmers in Nigeria are either civil servants or workers of the private firms. However, things are gradually changing, with some civil servants showing more interest in agricultural activities. Two reasons are said to be responsible. One, fear of lifetime after retirement, as many workers complain of uncertainty in pension flow after existing active service. Two, civil servants see farming as a lucrative return on investment, as in a season, the gain is often higher than the salary for 10 years.
And what we are trying to do is to make the civil servants to participate fully in the agricultural venture of this government. And with the encouragement of our partners, the Bank of Agric and ASIN, this is just a beginning. Civil servants should even expect more of this type of enterprising.
And here, this training is organized for the workers under the Office of the Head of Service.
One of the functions of the Office of the Head of Civil Service is to coordinate the program. PSIN handles the theoretical components, while the Bank of Agric provides credit facility to eligible participants at the end of training for business startup. The training curriculum, which I hear is very, very rich, was developed by a team of knowledgeable resource persons.
The confirmed income of the civil servant. He has an income, and also it is allowed by the Constitution and by law that they can go into agribusiness. So this actually propelled us to do this partnership, Head of Civil Service and the PSI, on how to get them trained and how to assess our loans. It's left for the Office of the Head of Service and other MDAs to come together and bring in as many participants as possible so that they can be able to enjoy the benefit of the scheme.
Backyard farming is another way civil servants can start farming. It could be a vegetable farming or aquaculture. Musa Baba Aliyu for Dateline 360.
The discovery of other gifts of nature to Nigeria was noted to be responsible for reduced agricultural practices. Among other impediments noted is the preference for modern architecture. This in some places has led to the allocation of green areas for building, impacting agriculture and food sufficiency. Ifeoluwa Omosule reports that some key players in Akure, Ondo State are calling for a balance in this wise to ensure food stability.
The traditional list of immediate basic needs for humans includes food, shelter, and clothing.
The fact that food is at the top of the list underscores its importance for survival. In the case of 36-year-old Michael Ulukotun, a resident of Aule community in Akure, Ondo State, he took the initiative to plant cassava and maize on a small piece of land in his compound. He explained that this action has saved him a significant amount of money, especially during this period of food inflation.
The cassava, we use it for gari, use it for this lafun of a thing, the cassava flour. Then we use it for fufu. Yes, we use it for fufu too. So, and during that process, we get starch from it. So, starching our clothes, doing our cooking, we use cassava. Then, even the leaf also, we use it for all this local soup.
We don't buy tomatoes anymore, yam, potato, because we have it planted in our compound.
Research conducted by the United Nations reveals that Nigeria's population has increased by approximately 5 million, highlighting the need for the country to strengthen its economy, particularly in the agricultural sector, to meet the growing demands for food. While food insecurity is a global issue, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics reports that Nigeria currently faces a food inflation rate of 29.90%. And experts in agribusiness predict that the current food crunch may persist except homeowners allocate space for farming in their compounds, emphasizing that there are new farming techniques that households can adopt to achieve abundant harvest even on small plots of land.
You can go into farming using sacks. You can use sacks, even to plant yams. You can use sack to plant potato and some other crops like that. And you have bumper harvest, you have a way of managing it in a very small piece of land, and you have a very high yield from it. So there is hydroponic, where you even plant without soil.
Government should form farmers cooperatives, encourage farmers to form cooperatives, get equipment, heavy duty equipment, tractors and implements, open up the land for them.
Research also shows that increase in population and desire for modern infrastructure have led to larger building sizes, limiting the possibilities for subsistence farming. Building experts criticized this trend, advocating for buildings that occupy only a small portion of land in order to allocate space for green areas.
Having all your site paved is not an ideal situation and should not be encouraged. The whole buildable space should not be more than 30 to 40% of your entire plot. We are also in the era of climate change, and we can see quite a lot of things happening. And a soft landscape also gives a serene environment.
In Akure, Ifeoluwa Moshule reporting for Dateline 360.
Leveraging on the federal government's diversification policy on agriculture has been considered the surest way of promoting food security in the country. Adamu Sunday reports that concerned citizens are of the view that there is the need for government to come up with policy that will encourage the issuance of building plans without the provision for gardens in every settlement.
This is Dambushia community in Chukunuku government area of Kaduna State with vast arable land, but now taken over by residential houses with little or no space for subsistence farming. In the past, households produced most of their own food, but today, there is an increase in dependence on market purchases by both urban and rural households, partly because much of agricultural lands have been used to build houses, thereby transforming a society from an agrarian condition to a secular, urban and industrial one.
Some of the areas that these vegetables were being planted by farmers have been taken over. Look at all the streams around this Kaduna, where we used to have the green belt area. We no longer have them. You discover that homes are built there. Filling stations are built there. And some other business areas have taken over all these green belt areas that we used to farm tomatoes, spinach, and other green vegetables. Whatever you need now, you cannot produce by yourself. You have to go and buy in the market.
40-year-old Salisu Yaya Muhammad, a resident of Kabala Doke who resigned his job 3 years ago, is now blazing the trail in agric enterprises. He produces maize and legumes in large quantities.
Sometimes they will harvest like 50, 100, 200.
He maintains that agriculture has changed his economic fortunes because the money he gets from his farm produce cannot be compared with his salary as a civil servant.
The government has to give support. Let's say by giving improved seeds, by creating avenues where tractors can be hired, by giving fertilizer, by giving other implements or inputs for the success of farming. If that is done, definitely many people would like to join in the farming business.
Secretary of Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, Samuel Kaduma Bahago, says there is a need to significantly increase the productivity of subsistence agriculture and ensure long-term food security, which can be achieved by encouraging civil servants to pursue sustainable crop production through the use of improved inputs.
The Ministry of Agriculture should sensitize people on the importance of having little areas that they can put up either vegetable gardens or plant some little things that they can harvest.
He says the initiative is capable of transforming agriculture from a low productivity subsistence-based sector to a high productivity integrated value addition. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday for Dateline 360.
Beyond improving Aesthetics, having a garden or a landscape outdoor space can offer many benefits to people, as it is said to have the potential of improving well-being, grow food, and create a relaxing environment while enhancing the value of a property. However, with present economic realities and the need to boost food security, experts suggest channeling attention and resources to grow food gardens. They also call for the promotion of the culture of tree planting and landscaping of outdoor spaces. Maureen Leo Ajam reports.
In Calabar, it is common to have most residents landscape their surroundings with flowers and ornamental plants, and this is mostly for aesthetics. However, many homes still create space for vegetable gardens and other forms of gardening, while others take advantage of fallowed lands and areas to grow vegetable and other forms of gardens for food and medicinal purposes. Dr. Maurice Sunday engages in market vegetable gardening in Calabar. He does it passionately and is committed, though he has a lot of challenges.
Currently, I have bitter gourd, I have pepper, I have beetroot, I have cucumber, and I have purple cabbage. They are very, very medicinal. The challenge principally is that we don't have enough input. Input is a challenge. Extension services is also a challenge. When I mean input, ordinarily the technology of growing this is different from our traditional farming. So we need input like irrigation, we need good agrochemicals, whether organic or inorganic. Then we need training that will come like government assisting us in extension services. Then we also need subsidization of input. Input is also a big challenge when you don't have the necessary things to make your farm, because one thing about vegetable is that it has a lot of pest problem. You must be up and doing in terms of keeping up with pests and diseases.
And in doing this, one could say Dr. Morris is contributing in solving environmental problems, as trees and plants are said to act as filters for urban pollutants.
Government should be real this time. They can go back to a farming club where the government will acquire a land, process the land, put people there, give them input, train them on the things to be done, and at the end of the day, they buy the input from the people. So until government comes in deliberately to use mechanization, encourage farmers directly and see that they will be guided, no grants and loans, not to be giving them. Even the loans don't even come.
Teach them that this is the essence of this. This is the benefit of this home garden and landscaping. By the time you define it to them, you practicalize it, or you show them an example of it, they will inculcate into it.
With the efforts of Dr. Maurice Sunday and others that we have gathered, we can see that having a sort of greenery around us has a lot of health benefits, as they are also calling on government to make the environment conducive for the youth to develop interest in agriculture, particularly gardening. They have also called for provision of agri-extension services. Doing this, they say, will enhance and encourage them who are already in the business. For Dateline 360, Maureen Leo Ajom.
Now, are you thinking agriculture? Well, no space is too little for cultivation as long as it is legal. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. I am Omotolo Mojola. May God bless Nigeria.